Newcastle versus Wolves, guys, is a bottom of the table showdown. Wolves rock bottom. Newcastle, from their part, will probably be so happy, Tim, that the Alexander Isak saga is done and dusted now.
I think they'll be sitting there like... if anyone's ever watching this who's ever split up with their girlfriend, you know, those weeks afterwards, he is so sore and unhappy and gutted. Honestly.
Especially when she's joined someone who's better looking
than you, you know,
got everything
fitter than you, got hair. Honestly, they've got their own teeth.
How did we end up down this road, guys?
No, that's how they'll be feeling. They're gutted. I mean...
they've got to move on.
They do have to move on. And to be fair, they've got two strikers, Visa and Voltemada, who are very good. Visa for Brentford, I don't think he's available for this weekend, as I understand.
No, he got injured. He was injured on international duty. Eddie Howe said he's not available this week.
But Voltemada, I like him. Yeah. Good in the air, but actually, he's not a guy who thrives on crosses. He's a guy who wants to play. His touch is very good. I think he might surprise a few people.
I don't think he starts him, but I would start him. I think if you're ever going to start him against any team, you've got the best team to start him against.
Yeah.
Wolves are having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just send him out there against them. At home, the crowd, he could be a hero straight away. The confidence that would give the boy. Yeah. Put him in the middle of the pitch, Eddie, up the top, and give him some service. Yeah. I think the boy will score a couple of goals, and then you've got a new player who's ready to go with a confidence bursting out of him.
Yeah, because the truth is that Newcastle have been crying out for a target man there.
Yeah, they have, and I think, but also, it's now about the dynamics of if he were to score those goals. If they've got someone straight away to shout about rather than Isak, what you don't want is for the narrative to be Isak is doing well with Liverpool and Newcastle have got a pale imitation of him. If Voltemada hits the ground running, gets a couple of goals, suddenly they don't have to talk about anything else because they're going to be hungry to find out more and more about this guy and take him to their hearts.
OK, well, let's hear from Eddie Howe, who talks about a busy week of games coming up.
You know, we're going to be into a storm of games, and that's what we want. You know, that there's going to be a great period for us in terms of challenges, quick turnarounds. We're going to need the whole squad ready to play. And that's why the last 2 weeks has been good, because we've been able to get work into players that needed it. So I think everyone's in a very good physical condition now to contribute. And it's really focusing on the whole squad in the next few weeks, because that collective is going to be the key thing.
What's gone wrong at Wolves?
It's hard to tell, but I think the lack of quality that did for the preceding two managers is now starting to be... I have this phrase I always use with teams at the bottom. If you circle the drain for long enough, eventually you end up going down it. And I think that's what Wolves are doing. They're getting by because they've managed to get by and they haven't had enough fresh investment. And that's why now, this season, it's going to be tough.
I think the owners, sporting directors, they've taken their eye off the ball. What they felt is that, you know what, we can lose Aït-Nouri, we can lose Cunha. Now, you can't keep losing your best players and not replacing them because in the end, it will catch you out. I had that at Aston Villa myself. Sold 4 or 5 of our best players in the second season I was there. All of a sudden, just struggling. They're bringing new players. Yeah, they might be okay, but in the future, they turned out to be all right, possibly some of them, but they weren't ready. And they were trying to decorate a tree we never had. We needed a foundation. That's what we needed. And the tree's gone, unfortunately, for Wolves at the moment. So Vitor Pereira's done a magnificent job since he's been there, but I think he's got his work cut out. And they've taken their eye off the ball because the Sunderlands of this world and the Leeds, we already talked about Burnley. It's not, I think Burnley will struggle, but Sunderland with that home advantage, if they can get their tails up, and the Ellen Road Leeds, I think one of them, or two of them, will stay in the Premier League. And that means someone else has to drop in. And the favourites at the moment to drop in is the old gold of Wolves.
Do you know, it's interesting because Sunderland spent £143 million in the summer. They invested because they knew they had to. Wolves haven't. You know, you can't just be satisfied to be in the Premier League and expect to beat teams that have actually invested. They expect to beat teams that are settled, that have got the depth of squad to compete in the Premier League. So when you ask what's gone wrong, it's the fact that they've been a little bit complacent.
The only thing that might save them is that they've kept their powder dry. They have money to spend. They've got headroom to be able to do it. Come January, press the panic button, sign a few players. Hopefully the manager can, you know, the magic wand like she did in last season. And then he can go to the pub and have a drink with the fans again and smile like he loves to do.
Nice
I bet he hasn't been there I bet they're wondering where he is. He don't go when they lose. I wonder why. That's why I never went.
Lemonade, says Darren.
Yes, absolutely. Lemonade or mineral water.
Okay.
You don't have to drink when you go to a pub.
Anyway, Newcastle Wolves.
Newcastle 3, Wolves 0.
Yeah, I go along with that. Wolves are all over the place. Baltimore had to have a great start.